About 1 million New Zealanders have an access need, from physical and age-related impairments to vision and hearing loss. But this country doesn't do well to cater for them at all. One woman who is legally blind wants to change that. She wants New Zealand to become the most accessible country in the world. Minnie Barrett-Gwyneth spoke to national correspondent Amanda Gillies about her story.
Leaning in, squinting, it's the only clue that Minnie Barrett-Gwyneth has any problems with her eyesight. But in fact, she's legally blind.
Well, so if I was to look directly, I think I'm looking directly at you now, yes. Your whole face is now gone.
She started losing her sight when she was just 14.
That summer, my dad took me for my first driving lesson and I drove right through a pedestrian crossing. Luckily, no one was on the crossing, and both of us in that moment clocked the fact that, okay, there was something going on with my eyesight.
She was eventually diagnosed with Stargardt disease, a progressive sight disorder common in older people.
But I have the juvenile form, which is quite rare. It's congenital. Both my parents carry the gene. I have 3 brothers. None of them have it. So I call it a highly sexist gene as well. No, I'm joking.
Despite her failing sight and with her humour intact, Minnie graduated university, travelled the world, ran the New York Marathon, became a council disability advisor and set up a business, Be Accessible, to help raise awareness for those with access or impairment issues. She was determined and rewarded with the New Zealand Order of Merit and the Sir Peter Blake Leadership Award. She was even a top 10 finalist for New Zealander of the Year. Now she's written a book called Blindingly Obvious, aimed at changing our views of what disability means. It's a revealing read.
I need to honestly, bravely share my true experience of growing up blind in New Zealand. Where we're doing well, where we're not doing well.
Ironically, she can't read her own book, but she's made an audio version, and it's the first full non-fiction book to be translated into sign language. Braille and Te Reo Māori versions will also be available.
For me, there is no option but to model accessibility. My hope would be that in the next 12 months, this book becomes available all around the world in tens or hundreds of different languages and formats.
The book came to her on her deathbed. She's been there twice. The first time was when Minnie turned 45. She was sent a medical reminder letter, which she couldn't read, to get a mammogram. Thankfully, her assistant opened the letter and alerted her to it. She was booked in and then diagnosed with breast cancer. She was devastated, but then she was delivered another blow. No audio file with the info was available. Then another blow. Post-surgery, Minnie suffered from an infection, a collapsed lung, pneumonia and blood clots.
The fact that I hadn't died was an absolute miracle.
She was prescribed 8 different medications, but again,
I couldn't read any of my pills, I couldn't read the amounts I needed to take. You get your medication wrong, at best you can end up very sick, at worst you can end up dead.
Then it happened again in 2020 when Minnie had a heart attack in lockdown. She was 50, legally blind, in hospital, alone, and now questioning life.
Has my work in social change made the slightest bit of difference? Have we actually improved anything for anyone? And why at this point are things... Sorry.
You're okay.
Why is it still so hard?
This is the mental toll. It's tough. Despite her work and age, her sight meant she was still struggling with everyday tasks, paying bills, accessing the health system, shopping in stores, because New Zealand, she says, barely caters for her community.
Right now, the access community has probably the highest rate of suicide, of mental health, of any community.
So she wrote her book. She wants New Zealand to be with her community, which makes up about 20% of our population. No patronising, just respect, because accessibility matters. Amanda Gillies, Newshub.